am Cora, and I like to craft. Over the decades, I have gathered a lot of crafting supplies, and I've also figured a lot of ways of organizing them. So I thought I'd share a few of the things that I've figured out along the way. We're going to start with the knitting needles. Now, I love collecting knitting needles. I prefer vintage ones, but I'll get anything that looks remotely interesting, just for the fun of it, really. And I used to have them all grouped up in like a drawer, and it was impossible to find. And I was dealing with US sizing, UK sizing, sometimes international sizing, or things that really barely showed any sizing on it at all, and you really have to search. And to sit around and try to use a needle gauge to figure out which ones are pairs and what sizes they actually are is just so frustrating. So I devised a way to keep them organized. And if you can see, you can hear that I've got mini dash hounds that would like you to know that they are guarding this house. So don't even think about coming for my knitting needles. And on we go. So I devised a way with zip ties, and I really like this. Ultimately, this is the way that's really stuck. What it allows you to do is to put them into pairs, and they stay in pairs. You can put them in jars or any container that's convenient for you. And you can either just do whatever colors you like, or for me, I've color coded them. For example, the red on here indicates that this is a 4mm, and the green indicates that this is a 4.5. And you can see that I've labeled any jars that I've got with knitting needles will have a label like this, and they'll be grouped into sizes like this. And I just thought I'd show really quick. It's pretty easy, and it might be self-explanatory, but as I've learned, self-explanatory really varies quite a bit. So I am just going to show you how to do this. So the first thing we're going to do is grab your zip tie, and you're going to put it on, and you're going to put it on most of the way. Not all the way. You want some room in there. That's pretty good. Now you're going to take a second zip tie, your second color, and you're going to want to put it in between. And when I say in between, I mean in between the two needles, not through that loop. And then you're going to put this one. And now we're starting to get somewhere. As it gets closer, that's when I start fine tuning. Pull and pull, pull and pull, until you get to what you feel is your desired tightness there. Now I also like to put on some hot glue, and that keeps the stuff from wiggling around. It doesn't really wiggle around when the needles are in, but once you've cut off this long tag and you put this into your knitting kit while you're using the needles, you don't really want them to come apart. So when you go back to it, so then you go back to your mini dash hounds. Yes, I hear you. Then it keeps it from moving anywhere. Now, I like to cut off this because a bunch of those would not be good. And I've experimented with leaving length on here. And actually, I've decided that I do prefer leaving some length on there. Some of my other needles on earlier versions, I cut them right off. And that's fine. This way, even if you didn't want to color code, you could always write the size or any information that you want down the length of this with some marker, a fine tip marker. That is the first tip I have. And then you just use them. When you're done, pop them back in. And there you go. And that's today's tip. Join me next time for how to make the perfect drink to go with your crafting. Have a great day.